Judge Aileen Cannon, the Trump judge in Florida, is now ordering Jack Smith to explain himself. This is going to come about through a brief that she has asked the defense file. Jack Smith now has 2 criminal cases being brought against Donald Trump, one in Washington, D.C., the January 6th case, the other in Florida, the classified documents case. And now Judge Cannon is ordering him to explain himself. She wants to know why he is seemingly using a Washington, D.C. grand jury in Florida. Why is he going outside of the Florida jurisdiction to a different location to get info in the Florida case? It's a big problem. Now, we know that there was a superseding indictment in this matter. Let's take a quick look at the docket so I can show you exactly what this prosecution's team is doing. Look at this. August 7th, filed under seal, restricted, sealed. We have another filing. System entry, August 2nd, restricted, sealed until further notice. Another one, August 2nd, docket entry, 95, restricted, sealed until further notice. Now, you could argue here in this case, unlike the January 6th case, that this is a classified documents matter. And so maybe there are some national security secrets and some things do have to be kept secret, but other things don't. It's kind of just like being in possession of some items. The possession of the items, what the items are about, okay, I can see why you might want to keep some of those things under lock and key. But everything else about the witnesses, the transportation, most of this are, private citizens who are not government officials, and we should be able to see a lot of this. So why is Jack Smith, again, filing under seal? They don't want us to see what they are doing here. And so Judge Aileen Cannon has actually called them out on this. You see this entered August 7th, an order striking the sealed filings and ordering briefings. She says, what the heck are you doing here? You just keep filing these sealed motions, and I want to see them now exposed, and I need an explanation from you. And so here we're going to go through the order that is asking Jack Smith to explain himself after the defense files their briefing. We'll also look at the speedy trial report and the discovery update before we take a look at this very interesting article from the Wall Street Journal. It explains that Jack Smith might be this esteemed prosecutor, but he's also somebody who loses. This is the order from Jack Smith coming out of Florida for Jack Smith by Judge Aileen Cannon. Short order, 2 pages. West Palm Beach. The case is United States of America versus Donald Trump, Walt Nauta, and the newest addition, which is Carlos de Oliveira. And we know that we have now 3 co-defendants, and we've got 2 indictments. We had the original indictment and a superseding indictment. And the superseding indictment has an arraignment, which is scheduled for the 10th of this month, as is indicated here. Trump and Walt, they will have an arraignment on August 10th, but my understanding is that their presences will be waived. We don't expect Trump to show up for that proceeding. Here's what the judge says. This is Judge Cannon, and she is just filing this on her own. It's coming out of basically nowhere. These sealed filings from Jack Smith keep hitting her docket. She says, all right, look, this matter comes before the court on special counsel's motion for a hearing. Here's what I'm ordering. And they're asking for a hearing in their filings 95 and 96, both of which are sealed. He says, all right, well, you filed that stuff under seal, but I'm talking about it in public. She said that Jack Smith is moving for a Garcia hearing, which is a hearing that's going to inquire about potential conflicts of interest that may arise from Stanley Woodward, the attorney's prior representation to his clients. They're trying to get Walt's lawyer booted from this case or something. They're saying that Stanley Woodward, the lawyer representing Walt, also represents 3 individuals the government may call to testify at the trial. So he's got too many co-defendants. The government wants to either prosecute them or call them. Simultaneously, Jack filed another motion under seal, which is called a supplement. So Jack's trying to be sneaky about these 2 filings. One is to inquire about Stanley Woodward, whether he has any conflicts or whether there's any problems with him representing multiple people. The other one is a supplement to, quote, facilitate the court's inquiry about something. Judge says this, Jack Smith states in conclusory terms that the supplement should, quote, be sealed from public view to, quote, comport with grand jury secrecy. But the motion for leave and the supplement plainly fail to satisfy the burden of establishing sufficient legal or factual basis to warrant the sealing of the motion. Now, in general, grand jury proceedings are secret, okay? And the default rule is that their proceedings, transcripts, everything is sealed, and that you don't get access to that, right? And it's a very strict process. So you do check out transcripts, check them back in oftentimes, and you keep it sealed so that everybody's, nice and protected. Now, in a case of national importance like this, I would like to see it all public. publicized for all of us. And here what they're saying is that basically everything is comporting with grand jury secrecy. So they want it sealed, but the judge says, but what is the supplement? Why does that also have to be sealed? Like maybe just the specific grand jury proceeding transcripts and things. But what is this supplement? It says, okay, well, the special counsel and their motion for leave to file under seal is denied. You are not filing Record 95 under seal. Sorry, Jack. The clerk is directed to strike from the docket entries 95 and 96, rewrite those. And here's where we get the explanation. This is curious. Now, the judge is saying that Walt Nada, who is the co-defendant represented by Stanley Woodward, says that your lawyer shall respond to the motion that was filed under seal requesting a Garcia hearing to talk about these conflicts. And when you respond to that motion, Stanley Woodward, your response shall address the following: the legal propriety of using an out-of-district grand jury proceeding, also known as DC. We're in Florida, remember. Why you're using a DC grand jury to continue to investigate and or to seek post-indictment hearings on matters pertinent to the instant indicted matter in this district. Why are you going to DC to talk about things that are happening in Florida? And they're asking for a hearing on this because Stanley Woodward is representing these other people, or had or is currently representing them in the trial of Walt. The special counsel shall respond to that discussion. So Jack Smith is going to have to explain himself. Hey, is it okay? The judge is just asking questions. Hey, defense attorney, I'm just curious. I'm curious if you know the answer to this, Trump's defense and Walt's defense. Is it okay if Jack Smith goes out of my district and investigates your people out of my district? Let me know about that. And then Jack, you can let me know what your response is. Says the remaining defendants like Trump and Carlos, you may but are not required to file your own briefs related to the grand jury issue here. Briefs are due by August 17th. Done and ordered by Judge Aileen Cannon. So absolutely love this. Jack, you're going to have to explain to us why you are using your favored DC judges in your favored jurisdiction, where it's rabid 92% Democrats and prolific anti-Trumpers who actually went and sat in on his arraignment, his initial appearance in federal court in DC, to do business in my jurisdiction. Is that appropriate in any way, shape, or form? And so that request is going to go out, and Trump's people will respond and the government will respond, and we'll see what they say. So very interesting filing from the judge. Not taking any grief. Stop filing your stuff under seal unless there's good cause, and explain why you're doing this. Amazing. Now, the government explained a couple other things. They did explain in a very brief discovery filing an update. They say the United States of America, in this filing that is 4 pages submitted on the 31st, they give us a quick update. We'll fast forward through it. They say on July 31st, the government produced a third production of unclassified discovery. So we still don't have a classified batch. The production included CCTV footage, location data pursuant to a search warrant, memorialization of witness interviews, and grand jury transcript. To facilitate the review, the government also identified key excerpt from the CCTV footage. It had footage from Mar-a-Lago. There was also some more footage for the new defendant. They say the government responds to the various specific things. They say, we understand, we're aware of our continuing duty to disclose, and so on. All right. So they're just giving batches of documents. The government also filed a speedy trial calculation report, and this one's also quite short, 4 pages filing here. In the first speedy trial report, the government reported that 5 non-excludable days had elapsed. The court disposed of that motion. We got an additional 10 days of excludable time for a total of 33 days of excludable time. Then the grand jury came back, and that restarted the clock for all the defendants. And so they're just letting the court know. If for any reason it begins to run after May 20th, 70 days remain before a trial must begin. May 20th, 2024 is the trial date. So a couple of small updates there, but the big update is that Jack Smith is going to have to be explaining this weird thing that he's doing, which is trying to play in 2 different jurisdictions. The Wall Street Journal had an interesting article. They say that Jack Smith might take on tough cases, but he doesn't always win. Smith led the Justice Department's public corruption unit more than a decade ago. Now he faces the most consequential case of his career, Trump. Some of his prosecutors were present when Trump pleaded not guilty. A lawyer who worked with Smith called it a classic Jack case, whatever that means. They say that this case is clearly on the frontier of American jurisprudence, using general and broad conspiracy and fraud theories to convict a politician for transgressions against the state. Some prosecutors also acknowledge the indictment doesn't clearly define which specific moments of Trump's actions became criminal. For example, it notes, it isn't a crime to falsely claim he won an election, but that Trump also pursued, quote, unlawful means of discounting legitimate votes and subverting the election results. Like, okay, well, what did he do though? Where the line stands isn't clear. Other experts say if the theories are novel, it's because so are the facts. Never before has a defeated president been accused of trying to block the peaceful transfer of power. Never before has a presidential candidate who's the leading candidate been prosecuted either. Trump has denied wrongdoings, calling him deranged. Smith's a registered independent. I wanted to see if there was any history here. Yeah. 2014, Jack Smith, they brought charges against a Republican governor, Bob McDonnell. In that case, McDonnell accepted $175,000 worth of loans and gifts from a businessman. In an 8-0 decision, the Supreme Court overturned his conviction, saying that prosecutors needed to show an explicit quid pro quo between the gifts and the donos in order to sustain corruption charges. They brought the case under an aggressive theory, but the Supreme Court narrowed the scope. John Roberts saying the DOJ's theory of the case was so broad, it would criminalize ordinary constituent service and other conduct. Smith left the unit, and of course, he's back now at the DOJ. So it sounds like it is very much the same thing that he has done previously, trying to create this new novel theory to go wage war against Republican politicians. Previously, it was Bob McConnell. Now it's Donald Trump. But the question that Judge Cannon is going to be deciding is whether it is acceptable for him to be reaching outside of her court. He's alleging the crime happened in Florida. Why is he going back to D.C.? It's doing a runaround the judge. She can't manage the case. And now he's apparently filing Garcia hearing motions to talk about conflict of interest. We'll see what Jack has to say for himself when he responds.